Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Mustang Misty channel. Today I just want to take a look at a few things we've got done to the Mustang. You can tell that the ride height is back to stock. What the shop found, someone had put wheel spacers on the back wheels and the lugs were only catching by a few threads. And I drove that thing 2 hours home like that on the interstate. So I guess I'm pretty lucky that that didn't come apart on me on the way home. I wasn't romping on it or anything. I was just doing some driving, nice easy driving, which is probably a good thing. At some point, I promise you all, you will meet Misty. She's a little camera shy. She don't like being on the camera, so we'll get there. Work in progress, just like the car. Okay, so let's take a look and see what we got done in here. Let's see. All right, so I did get her a 5-inch tack with the shift light mounted. We started mounting the, you can see the roll control, the line lock switch. I had to wire that stuff in. I have to fix this rigged up fan switch wiring that burns the wires, burns the switches. It looks like they replaced them multiple times because it doesn't have a relay in it, which it needs a relay. We also had the 410 gears installed. Also, while I was tying it down, once I could actually see under the car, it actually has, and I don't know that we can get up under here and see, probably not. Anyway, it has an AJE tubular front K member that somebody clearly spent a bunch of money on, which confuses me when they would do that and then put wheel spacers with 2 threads catching on the lug nuts on the back. But we're going to go over the car very thoroughly, make sure there's no more safety issues like that. This is a 95 GT with the fuel injected 302 engine, the 5-liter, whatever you want to call it. It has had the power steering removed. It has a manual rack on it. And this winter we're gonna get some different wheels and tires for it. We'll take her to the track with these on there just to get her feet wet, learn how to run that straight gear transmission. But the battery's been relocated to the trunk without a disconnect switch, so I got to remedy that situation, just for the sake of keeping things legal. You know, class wise or safety rules wise, I guess. So it has to follow certain safety guidelines in order to be legal for competition. But pretty excited about this project, and I'm going to tell you guys why. If you give me a few minutes, we'll come back and we'll take a look at the Camaro, which would have been her previous project. Okay, we're back. This right here is a 1985 Camaro. This is the 3rd gen. I wanted to show you guys around this thing because this is, and for me, I grew up north, and finding a car in this kind of condition is pretty much unheard of where I grew up at this age. The thing is, hell, it's a 40-year-old car. It's 10 years older than that Mustang. It's a 40-year-old car. I cannot believe that that is a 40-year-old car. I was 15 years old when that car was built. Good Lord. Okay, so again, 1985. This was originally a 2.0-liter V6 and a straight gear 5-speed transmission car. Let's have a little look around. As you can see, Okay, you just got some chips of paint and stuff. How solid. Of course, it's got cobwebs all over it. Still has a 7.5 rear end in it. But I wanted you guys to see this car because I don't know that we're going to sell this. I think we're going to, at some point, finish it out. Maybe she can bracket race the other car, and this one will actually do some heads up no time stuff with. But you can see I was in the middle of tacking up a roll cage in it. I'm actually going to have to move these forward and then box them in down at the front because I didn't really pay attention. Not going to be able to get a welder in here to weld this down bar. So I actually have to move the main hoop forward. I really wasn't wanting to, but it looks like I'm going to have to. Maybe I can get away with not moving those plates. I don't know. There's a little bit of a gap right here that I would have to plate in if I was able to keep them there. But you guys can see, if you look at the floors in this car, it's just, there's a bunch of stuff in the way, but if you look, you can see this thing is in amazing condition. Okay, there's a big hole where the stick shift went through it, but look at this. Look how nice this car is. There's no holes in it anywhere. That's still insulation stuck to the floor that we haven't cleaned off yet. But someone had gutted this car before I bought it for her. And I think the only rust literally on the whole entire car is, and I'm going to show y'all, and you're going to be like, oh yeah, well, there's no escaping that. Battery tray right there. That's literally the only rust on this entire car. Okay, that's it, right at the battery tray. We got a really good deal on this when we bought it. Of course, it didn't have a title, and I'm not going to complain because we bought it for a race car, and we paid $500 for this car. And of course, we've got quite a bit more money in it now than that. Looking inside, so that big cardboard box right there in the middle is an S10 manual steering box out of an early model S10. It's a brand new reconditioned one, I guess, brand new, reconditioned. But it is a direct bolt on to this car, so we can take the power steering off of it. And of course, you know, brakes, power brakes is nothing. That's a piece of cake to put manual brakes on the car. But look at these floors. There is not one spot anywhere. And when I was underneath of it putting the subframe connectors in it, every single bolt that I took out of this car came right out. I had to take the front control arms loose, and the bolts came right out. It's just amazing. There's something to be said about a car down south, I guess. But this is her Camaro. Again, we talked a little bit about possibly selling it. We talked about keeping it and eventually finishing it like we wanted. I'm not sure what exactly we're going to do with this, but it's just so nice, so solid of a car. But those that know, the F-body cars, third gen and fourth gen cars had a torque arm suspension, so that is a little bit pricey dealing with that. I got a couple options. You know, we would have to buy like a Quick Performance, or whatever the name of that other place is. Quick Performance or Trick Chassis or whatever. A 9-inch Ford built to bolt right in this car. By the time we bought the rear end, complete rear end, 9-inch, it's $4,000. Buying lower control arms, a torque arm, a sway bar, all the other shit you got to buy to put on this car. We'll have about $6,500 in the ass end of it, where I could just possibly buy a rear frame rail kit and put ladder bars and coilovers on it. A lot cheaper than that. So again, some soul searching. Almost hate to butcher up a car that's so solid, but it may come to that. Then again, we may decide to sell the thing. I don't know, but this is just a look at it so you guys can see. It really is a pretty nice car. It's just we've worked on it some here and there over the last year or so that we bought it. We've bought the frame rail connectors, the roll cage, the steering box, bought some other stuff for it. We've in the LS engine and the power glide transmission, of course. Probably got $2,500 in this car right now, and I think I'm leaning towards putting a ladder bar suspension in it, because I just don't want to dump all that money into that stock style suspension that doesn't work the best anyway. And there would be those that would argue, you know, there are some guys out there that are actually clicking off 6-second quarter-mile passes with what I'm going to call stock style suspension, you know, where they've welded in front control arm mounts that are multi-adjustable. And once you start doing all that shit, I don't consider it stock suspension anymore. So it may be configured like an OEM, but look, we can put ladder bar suspension on this thing for less than $1,000, frame rails included, and we can take a basic straight 9-inch Ford rear end without all them brackets on it and put in this car, and we could do it a lot cheaper. So I could actually buy an 8.8 rear end out of a Ranger and put in this car, and it would be a lot stronger than that, or an Explorer or something with disc brakes. You know, I just got to find the right width one. Anyway, there's a look at the Camaro. Like I said, we don't know what we're doing with it. We're primarily focused on this Mustang right now. So this thing will set until we decide what to do with it. But if you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, please consider or leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you, and please consider subscribing. Thanks. Have a good day.